Let's talk about catching trends. I'm going to be drawing out what I think is the biggest opportunity for each of you to catch the next $1 trillion industry. And I'm going to show you how you do this. I'm going to tell you from personal experience, okay? So when I say personal experience, I'm going to show you a formula that I've used to make over $50 million, okay? Maybe some of you have made more than that. Some of you have made less. But 50 million bucks. What's the formula? Let me show you. All right. I'm going to teach you something that I call trend stacking. By the way, let me see your phone. Flip it on so I can start seeing the different ones. I can see YouTube. You go on my Facebook. So number one, I'm going to teach you, this is not the world's greatest pen, something called trend stacking. Now, if you study history, what's made people the wealthiest in history? Like, I don't know how much money you're making now. Average person making under 50 grand a year. In America and other countries, it's even lower. What's the number one thing that made Jeff Bezos the richest man in the world? Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. What do they all have in common? All of them. They caught trends and they stacked trends. Stacking trends. Write that down. I promise you this is something I've talked a little bit on trend stacking, but I've never ever shared what I'm going to share on today's call. If you saw my Snapchat and my Instagram story, I was like, watch today because this is the most important thing I've ever put out. I've been hesitant to put this out, and you'll see why. Yeah, just stick this right here or something. Or just put it up on, move the table. Okay. I'll find somewhere to put it. Let's put that right in front of me. Okay. What did Elon Musk do? Let's actually step back. Uber. Why was Uber so successful? Uber's worth over, right now, anywhere between 40 and 60 or 70 billion dollars, depending on who you ask. Okay? Why? Easy. They stacked two trends. If you just take one trend, you might make a little bit of money. One trend, you'll make a little bit of money. If you stack two trends, you have the potential to 10x, 20x, 30x what one trend will do. Two trends, you go from $1 sign potential to $10 signs. I don't even know if I have room to write it on this board. Okay? Why? Well, let's think Uber. What were the two trends that Uber combined? What were the two trends? And different people will have different answers. There's no exact right answer. But who's got an answer? Somebody said app and transportation. Transportation, not really. I mean, there was horse and buggy a long time ago. So I'm not gonna say, I don't think, oh, I don't like these lenses. You have weird fisheye lenses on these? Is that a fisheye?
No, this should be, it's removed.
What is that shit? It looks, I mean, why not? I'm just wondering. There you go. Get the fisheyes off. I don't like the fisheyes. Fisheye we only need at my house if you're trying to crap the whole room. I don't need that. I got this. Okay, so I would say the two trends that they stack together, okay, would be number one, Uber, just apps. Just apps. That's it. And apps aren't even that new, right? An app is a trend that's gotten really big in the last, I mean, apps have been around for more than 10 years, but apps have gotten really big in the last like 3 or 4 years. And most trends last from 3 to 7 years. So you don't have to catch it on day one. 3 to 7 years is are most trends. The window, you can catch them and still make money. So Uber caught apps. An app is more convenient than going to Safari, logging in, typing. An app is just like dedicated. You open it up on your phone, like Snapchat, Instagram. People love apps. Now, what's the other thing? And I'll tell you what it was. It's not what you think. It's not transportation, because transportation is more than 7 years old. It's not a trend. They were doing horse and buggy in the 1800s. Before that, they had chariots. It's like the transportation. So what it was is cutting out the middleman. And I'm going to show you this. Cutting out middleman can make you rich. Or really making yourself the middleman. They cut the middle. And the middleman was like the taxi service, right? And this big corporation. Now, Uber's still a big corporation, but imagine, this is what they did. They made anybody with a car basically be able to become a driver and make some money on the side. And they made it so now there's a whole fleet of cars in Los Angeles, for example. In Los Angeles, there's a fleet of cars. Like by my house, if I call an Uber, it takes 2 minutes to get to my house on average. Back in the days before when there was a middleman, like, yellow cab, it would take, I remember one time I lived in LA, 2010, it was a Halloween party I was at. There was I called yellow cab, they said, sorry, we ran out of cabs. And I had to walk down, it was a crazy story. I went with my friend Abe De Leon, it's actually in like 2006. Went to this party, we get stuck in this was before I lived in the Hollywood Hills. I got stuck in the Hollywood Hills. We finally decided to walk down it. We walked down a canyon and all this stuff. And we ended up getting picked up by a guy from Tony, who took us to his house. He's married J. Blige. It was a weird story. But he had to walk like 5 miles, which is weird in LA in the hills. It's not built for walking. You get ran over. So they just said, we're going to cut out the middleman. Anybody with a car can now connect to anybody who needs a car. Boom. How long has Uber been around? Really, Uber got big around 2014, 2000, maybe 13. Now it's one of the biggest companies in history. Why didn't you think of it? Ask yourself that. Netflix. You're going to see this trend. What did Netflix do? Did you know right now, Netflix has 100 million people every month paying them about $10. You know how much that is? That's $1 billion a month. That means every day their Hastings bank account has about $30 million deposited into it. How'd you like to make $30 million a day in your business bank account? Is Twitter still going?
Yeah, on this end.
Sorry. I hope you guys will catch a trend like that. $1 billion a month. What are the two trends that they stack together? Boom, boom, Netflix. What is it? What is it? This is it. I'll see if anybody can get this. What's the trend? Okay, what's the trend? Got rid of renting movies. Convenience. Convenience is not a new trend. You can't call that trend stacking because convenience, people have been wanting convenience for hundreds of years. Travel, cheap movies, movie and internet. I would say it's very similar. There you go. Someone said, once again, they cut out an inefficient middleman. You used to have to go to Blockbuster. That was a middleman between the movie companies and you. Now, in a sense, Netflix, of course, is still kind of a middleman, but just think about it. That slight change in how the middleman was perceived by the public makes people go Netflix and chill. That's what people do. Netflix and chill. So basically, once again, they cut out the middleman and they combine that with one other thing, which you could say, there's a few different right answers. You could just say an app. Just an app. You know why like Amazon streaming is not doing as good as Netflix? Because not as many people downloaded the damn app. Okay? Now, before there was an app for Netflix, they just combined, mailing you DVDs, no fees, you could say, would be a trend that they caught. Because YouTube, back when Netflix really started, it was like this thing of no fees. You get the DVD, you keep it for as long as you want, then you send it back, right? So back then, the trends, I would say, it wasn't an app. It was cutting out a middleman and also cutting out late fees. Okay? That was a big deal. Late fees were huge. I remember going to Blockbuster one time. I forgot to return The Sopranos, and they charged me $900. And they're like, you have to buy them. Because I went on a trip to Europe, forgot to return them. It was in La Jolla. And I was like, I don't want the whole Sopranos. I already watched it. And the guy's like, well, you automatically bought it. I said, no, I'm not paying what it was. And it was like way, maybe it wasn't 700. It was an extremely, because it was like 5 seasons or whatever. They charged a restocking fee. It was like over $500. And I go, I don't want them. And he's like, you have them. So I literally threw them on the ground and walked out. I didn't take them. I was like, fuck you. I ain't going to watch these again. But they lost a customer. And when Netflix came along, boom, I was one of those people instantly doing it. What's a trend you can catch? So one of the purposes of this call, I'm not only going to show you how trends obviously have made companies money, but I'm going to also show you a trend, 2 trends everybody's missing. 2 trends everybody's missing. I'm going to show you, if some of you catch it, I'm going to make a little test group. I'm going to take a handful of you and I'm going to show you how to catch some trends like I did and how much money you can make. I mean, I've caught trends and launched a business that started making $100,000 a day in a week when you catch the right trend and you combine them. I'll show you what I did. I didn't do it as big as Netflix, obviously, but 2 trends that I combined made $50 million. Okay, my business has done way over $50 million in the last, couple years. Airbnb. What 2 trends did they combine? This one's a little trickier.
I think we should do this lens because it's a little crop on Twitter.
Just twist it a little bit. All right. What's another thing? What did Airbnb do? It's another $1 billion. Someone said, Ryan Worrell said, Tai, I bought your social media marketing agency course. It's amazing. Thank you. Extra fees from hotels. Once again, the middleman. They cut out a middleman because you used to have to and in this case, basically when I say cut out a middleman in these examples, I mean anybody with a house can now rent to anybody who wants a house. Yes, Airbnb is what I call an intermediary, but they're not a middleman. They are an intermediary. A middleman is like literally a hotel. I'm in a hotel right now in Chicago. They buy a whole piece of ground. They build a hotel. It's like a big corporation. This is a $100 million hotel. And so it's a middleman. Before Airbnb, if I came to Chicago, my choices were hotel or, hostel. And besides that, you're sleeping on the streets, basically, or you're sleeping at a friend's house. But what Airbnb is, by being an intermediary, they just said, fuck that, you don't need to. Anybody with a house, you know how many houses there are in Chicago? How many apartments, how many condos? They're like, anybody who wants to make a little side money can rent out a room or the whole place, and instantly they've shot up. So middleman, and then what's the other trend? There's a few good right answers here. You could say app is one, it's a simple app to use, but I don't think that's the right answer for Airbnb specifically. What is the answer? Who can come up with it? Who can come up with it? What do we got? Better travel experience? Yeah, maybe. Airbnb is a tricky one when you think about it. Oops. Better travel experience. If you think about it, Uber is the middleman. No, they're not really a middleman. They are in a sense, but they're an intermediary. And it's different. It's different because, for example, with Yellow Cab was more bureaucratic. You had to use their yellow car. You had to have their brand on it, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Uber, basically, when you get in an Uber X, it's anybody's car. It's Bob with the Honda Accord. It's George, it's Susie. Half the people can't even drive. I don't even know what Uber's test of drivers is, It's like, do you have eyes? Yes. Do you have a vehicle that has 4 wheels? It may explode. Yes. Okay, you're an Uber driver. So it's the trend toward decentralization. You could say that middleman and decentralized are somewhat similar term. Okay? So you could say, I would say a trend that Airbnb caught that's relatively new is travel prosperity. You see, 100 years ago, very few people could travel. They didn't have the money. The world is much wealthier now. There's more travel now than at any time in history. Same with restaurants. My grandma, growing up, she said in Germany, Berlin, Germany, never one time in her life did she ever eat dinner at a restaurant. So the world's changed and there's prosperity and it translates to a lot of travel. People like airline tickets. You know how cheap airline tickets are now compared to a decade ago? So you could also say cheap travel, cheap airfare they caught. Airbnb would not work as well 100 years ago, man. People weren't traveling. In 500 years ago, the average person never went more than 25 miles from their home in their life. Okay? There's still Amish people. I've been up to a community in Pennsylvania they're called the Nebraska Amish. It's called Big Valley, Pennsylvania. There's older people there that have never left that valley. Never left more. They're like old school because the Amish kind of live how people did 100 years ago. So this travel prosperity, cutting out middleman, Airbnb is one of the fastest billion-dollar companies. Why didn't you think of it? Ask yourself that. Why didn't you think of Netflix? Why didn't you think of Uber? Why didn't you think of Stripe? Why didn't you think of Snapchat? Instagram? These are all in the last 5 years. If you had had this idea. At any age, you could have been 12, you could have been 70. Last 5 years, every company I named has really risen to that billion-dollar number. They weren't even used more than 5 years. Why haven't you? WeWork. They cut out big corporate. So WeWork is another instant billion-dollar company. And what's the two trends? It's basically entrepreneurialism. There's a lot more entrepreneurs in the world. And entrepreneurs, a lot of them don't need a big office. And the trend that they caught is people basically, I would say, the entrepreneurs is the move away from corporations. Corporations can afford huge office spaces. WeWork doesn't need that. So what WeWork did, what's the other trend though that they capitalized on? And the trend is no long-term contracts, which is another thing, by the way, that Netflix did. See, there's no long-term contracts. Pay as you go. 20 years ago, if you wanted an office, you signed a lease for 2 to 10 years. I've had offices. My last office, I had an office in Sunset about a year ago, 2 years ago. That was $60,000 a month. And the minimum, I talked them down to a 2-year contract. They wanted a 5 to 10-year one. And so they just cut out, they said, WeWork said, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that don't need much office space and they don't want long-term contracts. We'll make one company, we call it WeWorks. WeWorks is massive, one Israeli guy in the last 5 years. Why wasn't that? I want you to take a second. Imagine if you had heard this talk that I'm giving right now 5 years ago. A lot of you are smart enough to just be like, people want to travel, people want to rent out their house. I'm going to come up with something called Airbnb. A lot of you could have come up with Uber. A lot of you could have come up with Netflix. A lot of you could have come up with Snapchat. Snapchat combined two trends. Instagram stories, stolen by the way. That's one trend, steal other people's shit. Facebook's good at that. What did Instagram, hopefully they won't block this live call. What did Snapchat do? Who knows the two trends they stacked together? By the way, there's a point of me showing you all these. I'm training you. And then I'm gonna give you guys a gift on this call. I'm gonna give you guys a gift. I'm just gonna show you two trends that are gonna be $1 trillion ones. Trillion, not even billion. Bigger than almost any one that I've named before. Okay, so what did Snapchat do? Two trends. What made Snapchat big? Go back about 1 or 2 years ago. Disappearing messages, thank you. Disappearing messages, okay? And then, when did Snapchat really get big? Stories. People wanted stories where you could click through and see your friends. So they added stories. And then, of course, Instagram stole them. But before that, you know that this company made the youngest billionaire in history. He was a billionaire before 25 years old. Evan Spiegel, he's still a multi-billionaire, even though Snapchat's gone down a little bit. He still let people go, you lost a lot of money. He went from being worth 4 billion to 1 billion. Still not bad, right? And he caught that trend, disappearing messages and Snapchat stories. Put those two together, boom, 100 million users. Snapchat's still being used. It's being, hurt by Instagram stories, but it's still a powerful force. Why didn't you think of Snapchat? I just read the story of Snapchat, man. Yeah, somebody said disappearing nudes. Yeah, it was a lot of disappearing messages so people could send each other sexy pictures. There was a trend. was a trend. People weren't doing that 30 years ago. 30 years ago, in 1950s, 50 years ago, people weren't going, I don't know, they didn't have any, they didn't, in the 1800s, they didn't have like Abraham Lincoln. Remember those big cameras where it went poof, and you had to stand there for 30 minutes? People weren't like, let me do my nude and stand there naked for 30 minutes while they used to put a head brace, the little powder would explode. Nobody was doing that 100 years ago. So they took technology that allowed, that you could say that was, I mean, you could argue that that's the trend that they caught. The ability for people to sit 10 sexy pictures. One more, and then I'm going to show you what you guys should, I'm going to show you what I did, and then I'll show you what I think some of you can do. And a lot of you can just do it on your own. We had 8,000 people register for this. Not sure how many are on because we have it on my website, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. So here, Tinder. One of my friends, if you saw him on my Snapchat, he's the guy, he's not a friend, but he's an acquaintance of mine. He was at my house, and he's the guy who came up with swipe right, swipe left for Tinder. So what's the trend that Tinder caught? This one's kind of easy, kind of hard. Online dating. Thank you. Online dating really got big. Online dating started, I think Match.com started around the year 2000. But at first it was just like weird people using it. Not many people used it. In the last 3 to 7 years, it's become normal. You don't have to feel embarrassed to be like, I'm on an online date. In 2004, if you were on an online date, people thought you were some weirdo, right? So what's the second trend though that they caught? Who knows? Reassurance of someone liking you? That's not new. That's not 3 to 7. Remember, a trend has to be less than 7 years approximately. People have been wanting to have love for 1,000 years, 10,000 years. Hookups? People have been wanting to hook up in the 60s or 70s. Trust me, people hooked up more than they do now. So that's not the avoiding rejection. Easy. I see some good ones. Easy act. I would literally say that they invented a trend and inserted it, which is just swipe right. Like, that's a trend that they invented. Literally, a guy that I know in LA just was sitting there and he's like, hey, let's do swiping. Because every other app, one of my business partners, Alex, as you guys know, Alex Engine, he's made $1 billion with a traditional dating site called Zeus, but not as much as Tinder's making, because Tinder just made it so easy. You just sit there, dude. You don't have to read. Like, Match.com has long profiles. Dudes don't read profiles. They look at pictures. Women, most dudes, I don't want to generalize and be sexist, but trust me, I got a friend, he told me, dude, I look at 2 things. Age in their picture. That's it. And location to me. That's all he cares about. They could write, I am a freaking witch and a warlock and I will cast a spell on you. I am a Satanist that will murder you. He doesn't even look at their profile. So Match.com, all the other dating sites, they didn't have swipe right. They had complicated profiles and this, and I'm looking, eHarmony had a complicated 200-question quiz in psychology, and Tinder's like, forget all that. New trend, we combine with online dating, swipe right or left, doom, doom, doom. If both people swipe, you can talk, and then maybe hook up or go on a date. Boom, people are lazy, but that's not a new trend. That's not new. So, you know how big Tinder is? Do you know how big Tinder is? Every country almost in the world is using Tinder. You go to Sweden, they're using Tinder. You go to Brazil, they're using Tinder. Do you know how many dates are generated? I forget the number he told me, so I don't want to underestimate. We are talking right now, as we speak, I don't know, 1 billion people in the world are on a date or going on a date. Maybe that number's a little high. But it's not like 1,000. It's 100,000 or something are going to go on a date today. I don't know what the number is. It's a crazy number. Crazy. 100,000 might just be in LA. It's all of LA is on there. So have you ever seen that guy who made a little machine to swipe for him? Have you seen that, Armin?
Yeah.
It's like he made a little robot, and it just swipes yes to everything, because he's like, if it swipes to a girl I don't like, I'll just ignore her. That thing is Tinder's big. It's not just a money maker. It's like an environment. It's a social experiment that's changed everything. Why didn't you come up with Tinder, one of you? Why didn't I? You know, if you came up with Tinder right now in your bank account, I guarantee you'd have $100 million and you'd still own the company. You'd have $100 million. You came up with that idea right now. You look in your bank account. You know, I grew up. Those of you who don't know my story, I grew up never with a family. You know, my mom made 20 grand a year. She was a single mom. Then she got remarried to a guy who worked at the post office. He made, I remember it was a big deal. He made like 30,000 a year when she got married when I was 8. Never met somebody who made even 100 grand. One year, my uncle made 100 grand when I was like 16 as a car salesman. And I remember our family's like, this is the most money anybody can make. And then I remember now making $1 million in 1 hour. When some of you have never seen $1 million bank account deposit, and if you own Tinder, if you own Snapchat, your bank account deposit would be 100 million, a billion, 300 million. My friend started Plenty of Fish. He got, Match.com wired him money, $565 million. They wired him. He started a site called Plenty of Fish, and he caught a trend. It wasn't swiping right, and he cashed out in about 7 years. His name's Marcus. But I always thought that was crazy. He got wired. He said, I want all my money up front. Because they tried to pay him over time. He's like, give me my money. So they're like negotiating. And they cut him a check for, it was a wire, $550 million. So I didn't understand how much money there is floating around the world. What's a trend that I stacked, okay? By the way, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is a trend, stacking, you know? So it's cutting out the middleman, and it's decentralization. It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, these are multiple trends that are stacked together. That's why they work. Disruption of the financial industry, blah, blah, blah. And that's why, you know, 2 of my friends are on the Forbes list. No, actually, 2 of them from cryptocurrency. It's crazy. Brock Pierce, you guys might have seen the YouTube video I did. He's on the Forbes list. I'm not sure what his number is, but and then Anthony Diorio, Ethereum guy. You might have seen my interview with him. He's made, I think, $1 billion, something like that. Maybe not quite $1 billion, but a lot. Enough that he can jump around in his own jets. I mean, he has bodyguards and all that fun stuff. So the question is, what did I do and what can you do? Because we missed some of these. That's just the name of the game. Each of us got to look ourselves in the mirror and be like, damn it, I missed some of these trends. And once you miss a trend and it goes past a certain window, it's hard to do it. Like, it's hard to compete with Uber right now. Like, Lyft is kind of doing it, but there's no third company that I know of that's big. Netflix, hard to compete with. They caught that trend. They got critical mass. They have the network effect. Yes, there is Amazon and Apple are trying to compete, but does anyone say, hey, yo, let's go Amazon and chill? Let's go Apple and chill. Nah, and people go, let's go Netflix and chill. So I want to warn you that some of you are going to like miss what I'm saying. You're going to procrastinate. And if I do this talk again in 5 years, I'm going to be listing off all these ideas that you could have done right now, that you could have started. You're going to miss them all. And I'm going to be writing them on the board, and you're going to be like, damn it. Some of you just got to learn procrastination, overanalysis is the enemy of all things. Low openness to new experience. Some of you aren't open to new experience. Some of you are caught in old paradigms. You're like, the only way to be successful, you go to school, you get a degree. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, they're going to some weird community college in like Wisconsin. I'm like, it wasn't even a community college, it's like a small college. And it's private, and it's like $30,000 or $40,000 a year, and they're going for an English major, and I'm like, you already speak English. You're catching, that's an old trend. I'm not saying you should never go to college, but I'm saying, what the fuck? Really? You really think $120,000 of debt for an English degree is like the path for you? But Tai, you can't get a job without a college degree. Bullshit. I don't have a college degree. I've made a few dollars in my day. Like some of this stuff just common sense. Like, yes, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, you need to go to college because you need the legal degree. But like, you speak English. My brother got a $80,000. He went $80,000 in debt at UNC to get a Spanish degree, and he can't speak Spanish. He speaks half. I was like, dude, you could have gone to Mexico. You could have gone to Puerto Vallarta and Cancun and partied in Brazil. I said, you should have gone. You know how guys really learn foreign languages? I'm going to tell you. They fall in love with a girl from another country. I was like, go to Colombia, fall in love with some Colombian chick that doesn't know English very well. You'll know Spanish in 2 months because you want to talk to her, period. And you could get a job and make money while you're in Colombia versus having... He's still paying off the college debt. It pisses him off. And they have interest. It's just bizarre. So some of you are so close-minded to new things, you're just stuck, and you gotta have Azusa Pacific in LA is $40,000 a year to go to Azusa College. Okay, I mean, no hate on Azusa College. I gave this talk at a conference, and one guy's like, I went to Azusa College, and I was like, sorry, man, don't mean to pick on your school, but why? Like, what is wrong with you? He got a degree. Oh, and he got a degree. I forget what it was. And I was like, do you do that now in real life? He's like, no, I do something totally different. I'm like, so you just spent 40 grand for 4 years. It's not like Harvard. Like, if you go to Harvard, it's good because you're networking with the next Steve Jobs, the next Mark Zuckerberg. It's Azusa Pacific. You ain't meeting the next billionaire buddy of yours, okay? You're meeting people that are going to become Uber drivers. No offense. I heard Chris Rock said that, talk about that. I don't know if you see Chris Rock's new thing. He's like, I was at my first grade kids orientation class, and the principal got up there and just lied to the kids and was like, each of you can do anything you want. Each of you could be the next president, the next Albert Einstein, the next Steve Jobs. And Chris Rock said he wanted to get up there and be like, I don't know, I see a lot of Uber drivers in here. So, anyway, no hate on being an Uber driver, but don't go 120 grand in debt till they become an Uber driver. Just go straight to driving Uber. Say, cut out the middleman, keep the money. You'll have an extra 100 grand in your bank account. Okay, so what's a trend that I stacked together? This is a $50 million trend that I stacked together. Okay, and this is low ball. It's actually more than 50 million, but I like to under exaggerate, not over exaggerate. So in the last 3 or 4 years, $50 million. What's 2 trends that I stacked together? One was YouTube ads. It always cracks me up. So Tai, I guess I'll just put my name, not to sound too narcissistic. A lot of people, when I started doing YouTube ads, people were like mad. And you go on Reddit, you still go on Reddit, it's like, fuck this guy, like, ah. But I'm like, it's like, I was happy. I was like, okay, you just mad because I caught YouTube before you. You know? Really. What's another trend that I stacked together? Education. People are spending trillions of dollars. There's $1.2 trillion of debt. In college, I was like, I'll just cut out the middleman. You want to learn business? I built businesses since I was 19 years old. I had 5 mentors. I'll build a program. I called it the 67 Steps. I charged $67. And some people said that was too expensive. I said, bitch, you could go to Azusa College. It's $120,000. You're going to get mad at my $67? $67. That's too much for you? That's a scam? Like, that's how stupid people are. I cut out the middleman. People get mad. I cut out the middleman. That's another trend. I cut out the middleman for education. Like, you want to learn how to build a business? Learn from a businessman. Do you really think that the secret to Mark Zuckerberg's success was a professor who never built a business teaching him? No, he dropped out of Harvard. And you know who in 2008 Mark Zuckerberg turned to because he didn't know what to do with Facebook? One guy was a guy named Steve Jobs. So he just went straight to a businessman, said, yo, I'm gonna cut out the middleman. I need some education on how to grow Facebook. We're competing with MySpace. Yo, Mr. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs called him up, gave him advice. So why don't some of you cut out the middleman in your education? So I combine those two things. In 7 days when I launched my YouTube video, it was making me $100,000 a day. Now some people got mad at that. Don't hate the player, hate the game, baby. Don't get mad at that. You should have done it. I didn't kick anybody. Anybody could have done it. Now people just now are starting to do YouTube ads in the last year or two. I started in 2014. You catch a trend early, you make money. You know, you get mad at people for doing it, okay. Just laugh all the way to the bank, you know? Literally, just laugh all the way to the bank. What's the saying? Let the haters pile up on that 50 cent. Let the dollars pile up and the haters pile up. It don't matter. People get mad, they get envious because you catch trends. But you can't people lie, but numbers don't. $50 million, no one can ever say, Tai, it didn't work. I'm like, well, I can look at my tax returns. I can be like, okay, this year I grossed, whatever, I forget which year, a few years ago, okay, 27 million, 23 million, 30, 40 million. Like, that's real numbers. Okay? That's real numbers. So just remember, whenever people are hating on you, they're either right or they're jealous. And to know if they're right, you look at the numbers. Okay? You know who did it even better than me? Way better. I want to do a quiz. We can do a quiz. Who in history has built the biggest... Well, let me just say, before I say that, I got this quiz for you guys coming up. So this is what I did, okay? So I can promise you trend stacking works. Because no matter what anybody says, no matter what any human says, I can show them numbers. Okay? You cannot lie, argue with numbers. These are real dollars. Okay? So, now, forget me, forget Airbnb, what can you do? I'm going to give some of you the biggest gift of your life. You don't have to send me a thank you card. This is free, by the way. Free training. I've got paid training, I got free training. I'm going to give you value in both of them. Here's my free training for you. Okay. What's for you? What's the trends? And I'm going to answer it with a quiz. So I'm going to answer a question with a question. You're not supposed to do that. Here's my question for you. Okay? By the way, this is on LTE, right? Yes. And it's working. Yeah, so disclaimer. I got to always throw in my disclaimer. This is how much money I made. I ain't guaranteeing you're going to make that. Okay? Some of you, unfortunately in America, we got to give legal disclaimers on everything because people will be like, if I made $50 million, that means I'll make $50 million. No. Netflix makes $1 billion a month. I'm not promising you'll do it. What I'm promising you is this principle works consistently. If you apply it, it works. Okay? So, what's the trend that you should catch? Now, some of you already have ideas. If you already have an idea, build your own business, stack the trends yourself. For those of you who aren't sure, I'm going to give you one. And I'm going to illustrate it with the simplest question of all time. What's the most successful business in history? If we use this measurement, the quickest to making $100 million or $400 million. It's the fastest company in history to make $400 million from zero, not counting a company that had investment in it. Just basically, you started from scratch, one person, and within a year or two, it's done $400 million. Name one. Not Amazon. Amazon struggled for you. Amazon started in '94. That thing struggled. Binance. I don't think Binance is making $400 million a year. What is Binance at? Look at Binance's revenue. Binance made a lot. It's a Korean company. I don't know exactly their numbers. I'll just show you two trends. Well, the answer is Kylie Jenner from the Kardashian family. Kylie Jenner, not even 21 years old.
200 million.
Yeah. Binance did 200 million. So one girl, Kylie Jenner, I'll just call her KJ. Here, Kylie Jenner. Kylie's with a Y, right? Isn't it? I think that's how you spell it. Sorry, Kylie. What's the two trends that Kylie stacked together? I watched her one day live she posted it on her Snap and stuff, not live, but just like in real time. She made like 13 million bucks in like 1 minute or some shit like that. Rihanna, the same thing with her shoe launch. So here's what she did. What's the two trends? What's the two trends? Who's got it? Beauty. Now, beauty's not a trend, my people. Beauty ain't a trend. Maybelline, Revlon, these are 100-year-old companies. A trend is not 100 years old. That's you're gonna destroy the word trend. Trend means it's relatively new. Influencer, Ian Wong, good. Influencers, you see, 100 years ago, yes, there was influencers, yeah, but not like now. There wasn't reality TV. So there were influencers, but they were more traditional people, like, you know, presidents, dictators. These were powerful people. Mao Zedong, Stalin, Eisenhower, Roosevelt. Like, you know, these were like the power. You wouldn't call them influencers, though. Albert Einstein, scientists were big and all that. But now, look who's like, royalty used to be. And you wouldn't call royalty influencer because the correct word for royalty is royalty. That's why we call them kings and queens. No, it's influencers. What were the Kardashians? What have they done? Turn this light on right here. What have the Kardashians done in terms of business? Nothing. I mean, now they've done business, but to start with, no hate on them. To start with, they were just a mom, some kids, and a lawyer, and then they made something of themselves, and they turned themselves into influencers. So what's the two trends? Because Kylie Cosmetics has made $430 million. It's basically a $1 billion company. She could sell it, I would say low ball for $500 million, high, let's say 1 billion plus. Okay? She's 21, I think. Okay, 21 years old. No investors, as far as I know, maybe her family or something, partners. She just owns it herself. What's the second trend? What's the second trend? There you go, e-commerce. You got it. Or drop shipping, we could say. E-commerce, drop shipping. So basically, she didn't have stores. See, Revlon and Maybelline had stores, which are expensive. That's why American Apparel went bankrupt. They were doing $690 million, basically the biggest, most well-known clothing brand in America, and the company is gone. It disappeared. It went bankrupt because they had too many stores. They had $500 million in rent owed over their leases. They were $500 million liability, $500 million. Whereas Kylie Cosmetics, she just drop ships them. There's no Kylie. I think she's opened one store or something like that. She does pop-up stores, but you don't go to Kylie Cosmetics. Kylie Cosmetics comes to you. You don't go to, you go to Sears, you go to Walmart. You don't go to Amazon. Amazon comes to you. Toys R Us, bankrupt. No one wants to go buy toys. I mean, kids do, probably. Kids are probably the saddest one. Parents just go on Amazon and like, you want what? You want this doll? Dink. And the store comes to you. Now, e-commerce is something I've been teaching. Some of you are on my e-commerce courses. I did a scholarship, partial scholarship program, but that's closed now. So some of you already missed. I was showing people. I've got a company that drop ships. We do books, and we do about $1 million a month. And I launched it from scratch. I work 1 hour a month on it. My business partner works. Let's see what we did this month. I'll open up my Stripe account here. Let me go to Mentor Box, it's called. So today we already made $16,600. We've made $786,000. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's real time. That's yesterday we made 19,000. This year to date we've made $5.1 million. Drop shipping. So we combine influencer. Me and Alex are the influencers, and we drop ship books. We also deliver it digitally to people. So I'm going to talk about something different because I told you, I promised you, you watch this call, I'm going to give you two trends. I'm going to show you, I'm going to take a small test group. We've got 8,000 people registered for this. I'm not going to take 8,000 people in the test group. I did this for my social media marketing agency, and I took, I think about 25 to 30,000 people over the last, it's not quite 2 years. I told them how to build social media marketing agencies. I stacked two trends, social media, right, and outsourcing marketing. Boom, and I And all these people are making 6 figures, 7 figures, okay? Disclaimer, not everybody did, because most people are lazy, but the people who actually work at it, so many, it's insane. I keep testimonials on here. I think there's 800 on my phone, just on my phone. That's not all of them, it's just the ones that I keep with me. Crazy stories, people making 100,000 a month and all this. So what's, based on this, what are 2 trends? I want you to put your face right here, you. Insert your name here. Damn it, damn pen. You. What are the 2, what's $1 trillion, it's not yet $1 trillion, but this is gonna be $1 trillion industry. I predict, and no one knows exactly, in the next 7 years. It's already doubling every year. Who knows what it is? Come on, give me cryptocurrency. Yes, that's been one. That's been one. But it's not for everybody. I don't know if you guys saw the Snapchat. One of the girls in my cryptocurrency program, 21 years old, she put in $8,700. She made $850,000 this year from trading ICO stocks, coins. And it's gone down a little bit, but she cashed out at $650,000. She's 21, she's at my house, 650 G's. It's not bad. I haven't seen her bank account, but I know she's got some money because she dropped $50,000 to be in my mastermind. So she probably made a few bucks if she could drop 50,000. Okay, so what are 2 trends you could stack? Well, what's the one I told you that Kylie did? Influencer. Okay? This is a powerful one. Influencers are making the most money. Rihanna's making 20 million bucks in 10 minutes with her shoe line. Okay? The Kardashians are obviously ones. There's many influencers that you have. Elon Musk is an influencer. He uses his influence to be able to build companies, to raise capital. He uses it to get past regulations, like he's building the Boring Company that builds tunnels under Los Angeles. So he's using his power, because when you're an influencer, you have power, you have trust, you have what's called authority, bias. There's a cognitive bias called authority. You have association bias. You have all kinds of social status bias. Okay, Richard Branson, this is old school. I'm talking about right now. Richard Branson, of course, is a very powerful person. He's made a lot of money. But the trend, I could go in why basically influencers started really around the time like Steve Jobs because of TV. 1984 businesses. In the 50s and 60s, there was no face to the business. IBM, they were just like a big computer company. You didn't see like a person's face. 1984, Steve Jobs really pioneered the idea of influencer. Like he got up and was like, I run Apple. Buy it because you like me. And a lot of people buy Apple because they love Steve Jobs and the legacy and what he built. Okay? Now, that's continued and it's gotten stronger. The power of influencers. Most powerful force. Look on Instagram now. You see, there's that little Tay. She's 9 years old. She's getting like 50,000 followers a day or something like that. Okay? Now, some influencers you'll agree with and some you won't. I'm not saying you got to be like one influencer or another. I'm just saying you can't argue with the power of influence. And these people, you know who was at my house? The Cash Me Outside girl. Okay? Cash Me Outside girl is smart. She came with her mom about a year ago. And I told my staff, I was like, this girl is not dumb. And now she's pivoted her career from just being on Dr. Phil to she's got a music career and blah, blah, blah. I don't know the whole story. I don't follow it all. There's other influencers that you might follow. Grant Cardone and Gary Vee and Tony Robbins are influencers in the personal development space. There's tech influencers that you might follow on Twitter. Like I said, people like Elon Musk. There's investor ones, things like Warren Buffett, people like Warren Buffett, people like Peter Thiel. There's political influencers, obviously. So you need to bring the power of influence. Either you become an influencer, or you get somebody who's the face of the business, and you can be the manager of that. Okay? So, what's the second one? What's going to make this $1 trillion industry for you? I'm going to take some of you, and I've got a 3-month test group. 3 months. I'm going to take a handful of you, and I'm going to teach you how to do what I did. So, Influencer, I'm not going to put e-commerce there, although e-commerce could put there. I'm going to tell you. Online education. Just watch this. In 2014 or 15, it was a $60 billion industry. I'm going to draw a graph. It was at $60 billion. I think it was either 2015 or 2014. In 1 year, it doubled to 120 billion. Okay? If you do that pace, jumping from 60 to 120, this thing gets to $1 trillion fast. Now, you have companies, you have big universities going into online education. Yale is on YouTube. Harvard's on YouTube. Their thought process, they're going to make money because you then see the courses and then maybe you try to take, like Harvard has an online business school now. It's $60,000 if you want to get a Harvard MBA. You see companies like University of Phoenix was an old one, but you see like lynda.com, you see Coursera, you see edX, all these different ones. I have free courses and I have paid courses. I'll tell you an interesting story, true story. One of the founders of a company called Kajabi, they have software that allows people to do online education. And I said, what's an example of somebody using your software and making money? He's like, well, there was a guy who was a regular 9-to-5 corporate worker, but he was good at Excel because he had to use Excel a lot. Okay, so he decided he'd become kind of a little teeny influencer, not as big as Rihanna and Drake and all these people, just teeny. And he wanted to be an influencer to people who want to be better with their computer. Like he's like a guru. Like, you want to be better using your computer? Okay. He built a course. He recorded 20 videos, each of them like, I don't know, an hour, on how to use different features of Excel. He charged, don't hold me to the exact number, it was like $100 or $200 to get the course. Okay? Guess what he's doing right now? He quit his job. He makes $200,000 a year selling that course. Roughly 1,000 people a year buy that course on how to use Excel. Let's just say it's $197. Okay? What's his costs for online education? Nothing. He puts the videos, you can get a Vimeo, a private account, I think it's $10 a month or something like that. So his costs are $10 a month plus any marketing he wants to do. But he's become an influencer. When you're an influencer, things pass by word of mouth. That's why I said you want to combine influencer with because if you just try to do online education and you don't have any influence, the problem is you have to spend a ton of money on marketing because you don't go viral. You need to go viral. Some of my stuff goes viral. Here in my garage video, I did boost the video, but it also made, it did another 50 million views organically, which means I'm getting free people buying my programs, buying online education. This is massive. In 10 years, 20 for sure, your kids are going to look at you and be like, wait a second, you used to go to a classroom and sit there and let people lecture you. And you had to drive there through traffic. And you had to pay $40,000 a year and go in debt. What's wrong with you? Why don't I just learn on my phone? You can watch the same thing on the phone. Best way to learn how to use Excel? Question for you. A or B? Go to Azusa Pacific, pay $40,000 a year, take a business class that has a little 1 hour lesson on how to use Excel, or buy my man's course for $197 and get 20 hours of in-depth Excel for $200. A or B, which one do you pick? Everyone's saying B. Good. Now I know smart people are on this call because a lot of people still picking A. So here's my question to you. Right now, this is the moment, right? I told you guys, write today's date down. Go to your little calendar app on your phone, click on it, and put a highlight on today. Because today for some of you is going to be a day that changes your financial future. Seriously. Going to change your financial future. Okay? Some of you are going to do it on your own. You've learned enough from me. Some of you, I'm going to put up a link in a second. If you want me to train you in how I've done it, in this space, I've done it the most, I think, anybody in the world of any one person. Now, big institutions like Harvard and stuff have beaten me, but I don't know, my 67 steps 150,000. More people have gone through my 67 steps in the last 3 years than the school that's 1 mile from my house, UCLA. Okay? So I'm going to show some of you. I'm going to teach some of you. Here's what I want you to do. We need an exercise. I'm going to show you for free real quick how to do this. Okay, what do you know right now? Tell me something that you know how to do better than the average person. Just name something. What do you know how to do? What are you good at? Anything. It can be cooking. It could be you're a real estate agent. You could be a multi-level marketing. You could be good at sales. You could be good at organizing parties. You could be good at styling people, their dress. You could be good at hair. You could be, somebody said editing videos. There you go. Powerlifting. Good. Math. Good. Teaching people soccer. Well, what are you good at? Not teaching it. Just what are you good at? See, you gotta be good at it first. You can't teach what you don't know. Boxing, somebody said, good. Cooking, finance. You know, a guy was at my house 2 years ago. He said, Tai, I want you to know, 1 year ago I was broke, no money. Now I make $500,000 a month. I said, what do you do? He said, well, I've always been in great shape. I've been a personal trainer. He built a simple course. You can find it now. It's on ClickBank. I forget the name of it. Ask Ben what the name of that damn thing is. The fitness guy that was at my house that's doing like 500 grand a month on ClickBank. Okay, he's probably netting, I don't know, 100,000 a month at least. He's grossing 500. I'm guessing he probably make it more now. He built a simple course that people could follow along with exercises. There's a guy named Greg Gallagher. He's in Canada. He's in great shape. He has a simple thing called the Kino body. He's an influencer in fitness. He's got a little group of people who follow him, and he makes $1 million plus a year, I'm sure. I don't know his exact numbers. So you don't have to be the best in the world. You don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wesley Virgin?
Yeah, Wesley Virgin is this guy's name that I told you that's on ClickBank. What's the name of his program, though? He has a program. You can Google it. So I promise you, you know, or if you don't know anything, let's say you're real young, you're not good at anything, do you know somebody who knows something? Because with MentorBox, you know what I did? I wanted to build a business. I built businesses doing influencer online education on what I knew, but I was like, I need to expand, and I don't want to do it myself. So I found a guy who has a PhD. His name's Alex Mayer. He's a genius. We became business partners. I said, I'm going to make a new company about you. I'll be behind the scenes. I'll manage you, teach you, and we'll call it MentorBox. First week, went to $1 million run rate. Okay? Right now, we have 53,000 people paying us between $7 and $150 a month. Okay? Not bad, right? We're not as big as Netflix, but we're only 18 months old. We signed Walmart as a client.
Oh, 7 Day Fitness.
It's called 7 Day Fitness by Wesley Virgin. What do you know, or a person you know, that you can manage? That is the next $1 trillion industry. MentorBox, is that Ty's property? Yeah, I own 50%.
1 million.
Me and Alex own 50-50. We have investors that have 1% or something, 2%. So technically we own 95% of it. So what's a specific thing right now, that you could become an influencer in? Or make somebody else an influencer? What's a skill you have? You guys, now I'm not promising you make 50 million bucks, but how about this guy who had this simple course on how to do Excel? He makes $200,000 a year. He recorded the videos one time. My social media marketing, I taught people how to do social media marketing. I recorded the videos one time in 2016. I haven't recorded another video. Why are you not taking what you're good at and turning it into a part-time or full-time business?
Resetting Instagram.
And becoming an influencer. It's 2 skills you got to learn. Or managing other people. If you're more shy and introverted, you could find somebody else to be the influencer. So here's what I want to do. I want to just really quick brainstorm 10 things that a lot of you are good at that you could turn into part or full-time income. What's wrong?
It's just saving it.
Oh. Let's do a brainstorm. Because some of you are like, I don't know what I'm good at. By the way, the more specific, the better. Is it still saving?
Yeah, but want me to just share it? Then I can send
Yeah,
it to
just
you.
share it. Share it. Yeah, I don't. Saving is not that important. Okay. On Instagram. Let's brainstorm. Whenever you don't know how to make money, one of my buddies taught me, sit in a chair, or in this case, go live and talk to people. We're gonna brainstorm 10 things that covers most people. Okay, let's just see people's idea. How about fitness? If you know anything about fitness, weights, how about diet? Okay, how about cooking? How about sales skills? You're good at sales. You've always been good at sales. How about, what's some other ones? Let me take some from the audience here. Gaming. Thank you. Teaching, that's a huge one. Teaching people how to be better at games. People love games. Fashion. There you go. So let's say you're good at, you know how to dress. What about hair? People are going to be learning all of these online. Somebody said math. People are going to be learning math online. They're going to pay for tutors. They're going to pay. You might as well take some of that money. Somebody said making juices. Okay, juicing. I'll just throw that out just to show you that it doesn't have to be something so magnificent. Counseling. English. How about that? How about languages? Who's naturally good at languages? There's huge companies that you could build, you could become a small influencer. Remember, you don't have to be an influencer like the Kardashians. You just be a small one. Someone said, oh, music. Who here knows a musical instrument? Why aren't you turning that into a part of full-time business? Singing. You know how big music is, man? Look at American Idol. The biggest TV shows are all around music now. It's like American Idol, America's Next, what's the other one?
America Has Talent?
Yeah, American talent shows. You have even Dancing with the Stars is kind of musical, obviously related. Nobody's dancing without music. So singing, sports. I know a guy. His name's Jason Capital now. He built his first business. He made $1 million before he was 25. He played college basketball. I don't even think he was Division I, but he made a simple course on how to jump higher. And he made $1 million. That's like 10 years ago. $1 million. This is his first $1 million. He became a millionaire. He just showed, he had a course, I forget how much it was. He was an influencer. Here's another one. He gives dating advice. There's a lot of these guys. Owen Cook from RSD. I was just with a guy, Matthew Hussey. He teaches women how to find relationships. Dating advice. These guys all making it. Every person I'm mentioning now, these guys are making $1 million. These are all millionaires. Parenting, yes. Credit. I gotta teaching people how to improve their credit. How about real estate? How about being a real estate agent? How about multi-level marketing? How about interior design? How about investing in the stock market or penny stocks? I have a friend teaches people how to buy not penny stocks but smaller stocks. Multi-millionaire. Teaching people. Tim Sykes is his name. Art. Dude, we could go here. What did you say, Zach?
I was about to say photography, right?
Photography. Masterclass is doing online education. Why don't you build your own masterclass? So here's what I want to do. I'm going to take some questions. I also want to put up a link. I'm going to take a test group, a small group of you. I'm going to charge you a small amount of money. I'm going to tell you why I charge money. 2 reasons. Because never do anything for free let me take that back. Help the poor. Give to charity. Okay? That's good. Everybody should do that. All right? I try to give millions of dollars every year. Not trying to brag, but to charity. But besides that, don't ever apologize for knowing your worth and what you're doing. People can pay you. People pay McDonald's billions of dollars to get diabetes. You don't have to apologize for teaching people hard-learned skills that you've developed over your life. Okay? So number one, you guys can go and take everything I've talked about for free and go and do it on your own. Small group of you, less than 1% of you on this call. I'm going to let in a test group. I'm going to put a link up. While I'm live, you can join. and jump in this test group, okay? Then I'm gonna take the link down. And here's what I'll leave it up for just a little bit after. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do this test group forever. Like my how to invest test group, I opened up for a month and then I basically closed it, or I raised the price. So I'm gonna set the price as low as I think I can. The second reason I charge, I've already done a test. I've never gotten one testimonial of results from somebody who didn't pay for my programs. All the people that I've given free programs, like if you're a disabled veteran, I always give free, give my programs for free. But the results rate from people who don't pay for stuff is low because I'm not charging $40,000 like Harvard. I'm charging, these are like less than the cost of community college. So if you have no money, you can just take everything I'm talking about today and do it on your own. And some of you will figure it out. A lot of you, it's harder to do on your own. But I'm gonna take a group of you, I'm gonna train you over the next 3 months how to do that, step by step. I'm gonna show you how I took my Instagram from 0. Well, I used to have I remember 2011, I used to get 100 likes. If you go back to my Instagram, I kept some of my original posts. I remember getting 100 likes and being like, wow, man, getting 100 likes on my posts. I'm gonna show you how I grew my Instagram to, I don't know what I'm at now, almost 3 million, 2.8 million or something. Got 6 or 7 million Facebook followers, but you don't have to get that big. In fact, you don't need 1 million followers. You don't even need 100,000 followers. 10,000 followers, you can make money. So I'm gonna show you the influencer side, the psychology, or if you don't wanna be the influencer, I'm gonna show you how to find another influencer like I did with MentorBox and make them the face of the business, but you can you split the money, like me and Alex split it 50-50, okay? So I'm gonna teach you the influence side, so that'll be part of the 3 months, and then I'm gonna teach you how to take what you know or what an expert that you're partnering with knows. I'm gonna show you how to build the website. I'm gonna tell you how much to charge. I've done more split testing on this than anybody. No one in history split tested online education that I know of, no one individual, more than I have, okay? I wanna teach you insider tricks. That's why I'm making this a smaller test group. I don't wanna share all that on a live call because I'm not an idiot. You don't wanna share all your secrets. This is my rule on sharing your secrets in business. If you share all your secrets, people will steal them and they'll make money instead of you. This is not fair. But if you're too stingy with your secrets, you're like the Grinch. So my happy medium is I do these free calls. I give a lot of free information. This right here I showed you, nobody in the world's ever told you that. So don't ever bitch at me and say, oh, Ty, you didn't teach me anything for free. I just showed you what your mom didn't show you, your dad didn't show you, no college professor showed you, 0. Okay? Nobody. I should charge $10,000 for this class right here. I've spoken at Harvard, #1 business school. I've spoken at #2 business school, London Business School. I don't even know what they're learning because they ask me questions. They don't know basic shit. I'm like, what's your CTR, EPC, and CPC? They're like, I don't know what that is. They're learning classic business as if they're in the 1800s. They're learning macro and microeconomics. I'm like, really, dude? You're gonna pay 60G? You could do macroeconomics on a YouTube video while you're on a treadmill. You need to learn real stuff, how to do stuff. I'm gonna teach you real practical stuff that I've done. Now, this has made me over $50 million in the last 3 years. More, but I'm under exaggerating. Okay, I'm not promising you'll make 50 million. You could be happy. Imagine if you just made an extra $1,000 a month. You can move into a nicer place, get a nicer car. Some of you will make an extra $10,000 a month, part-time. Some of you will do this full-time. There's a guy named Ekim. You probably saw him on my videos at my house. Once a month, I have a dinner at my house. It's called my 300 dinners. They're free, invitation only. They're to people who are taking what they've learned in my programs and making money. And he's become an influencer only in Turkey, the country of Turkey. All of his stuff is in Turkish. He teaches people, so he did drop shipping, and he teaches people how to do drop shipping. When he met me, he was making $15,000 a month. This month, he made $100,000 a month. He lives in Turkey. You saw him he just bought his first Lamborghini. Lamborghini Huracan, the little one, not the Aventador, but still, 1 year. So he monetized what he knew. Now that's an extreme example because it only took him 2 months of being trained. He paid me $10,000 to come to my house for 2 days in August of last year. Then he paid another, I forget, probably another 10 or 20,000 for me to coach him. I had a little inner circle group. I said, you can come hang out with me. And no matter what people say, he got results, man. Now, I'm not going to charge you guys $10,000 or $20,000 because I'm not going to let you come to my house. People want to come to my house. I'm like, I don't love people coming to my space. So I raised the price to keep the entrance fee. If I charge $1 to come learn from me at my house, you'll get a lot of weird serial killers coming to my house. But I'm going to do this all online. I'm going to do live training too. So it's a combination of live training in the test group, live calls where you can ask questions live to me and other influencers. I'm not going to be the only one because I don't want you to only learn from me, man. I'm going to bring in other people. I'm going to bring in people who are fitness influencers. If you want, I'm going to bring in people in many of these industries. We didn't fill out number 15. Number 16 just says ass. Why do I have ass there?
I didn't want to say anything.
Why did I put ass?
That was my suggestion.
Some of you know a lot about ass. Hey, believe it or not, you girls that know how to build a butt, everybody wants a butt. Not everybody wants to do silicone implants. We launched a leggings business. We doubled our conversion rate by just saying, our leggings raise your butt. There you go. Ass. That's not what I meant to put. I think I was writing something else. 15, I didn't even, was I having like a mini stroke right here? I wrote nothing and then
You spelled
15.
out a bunch of things at once.
Fitness butt. Women, where's the women making a little, if you got a great butt, you have a good workout that works for you, teach it. Yoga instructors, why aren't you teaching online, guys? I don't understand. You only want to have a yoga class where people got to drive through LA traffic, New York traffic? Why? Like, you can still have that. Why not do it online? You know, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, the Gracies, you know what they do? They have a academy in Torrance and around the United States. And in addition, they have an online Gracie Academy where people pay $100 to $1,000 to go through a program and get their, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. You got to go in person for some of the testing. You're not going to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu all online, but you can certainly supplement when you're traveling. So there's so much opportunity for here. All that matters is results. Results. I'm going to show you how to pick a trend, how to capitalize on what you already know. I'm going to show you the power of influence and how to become a micro influencer. Some of you will become big influencers. I'm not promising every one of you is going to have 2 million Instagram followers. It's not realistic. If you're teaching Excel, okay, and making $200,000 a year like this one guy was talking about, you're not going to be a 2 million Instagram. Nobody likes Excel that much. But you be a micro influencer and you make enough money to travel the world, have fun, pay off your college debt, not have to worry about money anymore. Automated. I'm going to show you how to create automated income. I'm going to show you how to set this up on recurring. I'm going to show you how to speak publicly. If you don't want to speak publicly, I'm going to show you how to find other people to be the face of the business. So you could be the behind the scenes person, but the person making the money. You can make more money behind the scenes. Like Chris Rock said, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Ronaldo, all these professional athletes, they're not rich. They're not wealthy, they're rich. That's what Chris Rock said, the comedian. He said the guy, the owner of the company, of the team, who pays their paycheck, he's rich.
Well,
he's wealthy. Thank you. I killed it. Forget my comedy jokes are not, my timing is not as good as Chris Rock. I forgot my time. But, okay. I gotta go, see. Hold on.
is that Chris Paul texting you?
Don't say that. I gotta go watch it. All right. Questions. Then I gotta go. I wish I had more time, but I gotta go. Okay. I want to work for you, Tai. Is this live? It's on YouTube live, so it's live. Will this work for refugees? Will this work in other countries? Hell yeah, this is great for other countries. Will this work if you're 19 years old or 79? Yes, because if you're 19, you teach social media, you teach the gaming, you teach stuff that you can do. There's tons of people making money at 19. You teach other 19-year-olds, teach math, you teach whatever. Teach jujitsu, boxing, wrestling, like all that stuff. If you're 90 years old, you teach what you've learned in 90 years. You'll know so that every age, if you live in America, if you live in Germany, if you live in Australia, who cares? First of all, the internet has destroyed borders. You can live in Swahili land and sell into Beverly Hills right now. Nobody cares. I mean, nobody looks on Amazon and goes, where is the seller from? Like, you just buy the product. So I'm going to teach you how to cross borders. The important thing is to set this up on recurring income. Like MentorBox has 53,000 people paying monthly. We have quarterly and annual subscriptions, but it basically comes out. Me and Alex could quit working right now for MentorBox, and it probably makes $300,000 to $400,000 a month. And we built this in the last 18 months. I've only done 1 hour of work per month. I've done about 12 hours a year in this. He's done a lot more work, but me and him could just take $200,000 each a month and live on it just from that one business. I own many businesses. You see the power of recurring income and influence and catching trends, man? MentorBox is the Netflix of books. We caught a trend. I'm launching 200 businesses this year to catch trends. Then I'm cutting down to the best 12. We launched a protein box. We launched a vegan lean 67 shake. We launched a t-shirt company. Just got a testimonial from somebody, like a box. We ship you a box with high quality t-shirts that'll normally cost you about 110 bucks. We're getting them for 30 bucks. We just manufacture them ourselves. So I'm catching trends everywhere. But the biggest trend is teaching what you know and what you're good at, or what someone else is good at, and you setting up. All right, other questions. Let's see how. Before I jet out. Welcome to the group. Toby Coleman on Facebook Live. Florida. Welcome to the group. Neftali Fernandez, Illinois. That's where I am right now. I happen to be in Chicago. Linda Durbinson on my website, Facebook. Welcome to the group. Bryce Coffee, Illinois. Welcome to the group. Jazzy Vega. Is this my friend Jason Vega? Doesn't want me to know he's buying it, so he changed his name to Jazzy. John Cardelli. Oh no, that's from, I have another real estate group. My bad. Okay, Sean Bell. Welcome to the group in Connecticut. Evan Choi in Canada, right here on Facebook Live. He did the payment plan. You can do the payment plan. Abdul Fatah in Saudi Arabia. Welcome to the group. I don't care. One thing I learned from my grandma, never discriminate on race, gender. Just discriminate against annoying people. That's what you do. Just some people are just annoying. That's who you should discriminate. I will promise you this. There's annoying people in every damn country and every city. There is no, Hitler had it wrong. There is no master race. In every group of people, there are annoying people and badass people. Hang out with the badass people. So I don't care if you're from Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, America. I don't give a shit. You could be in the test group. I don't care if you're a woman. Now, if you are under 18, do not use your parents' card without asking their permission. Because every time I do this test group, one mom calls me and it's like, my son, who are you? Like, don't do that shit. Just ask your mom if she says yes, or your dad, whatever. Or use your own money. If you're 16, you should have your own damn bank account. Your own credit card. You can get a credit card at 16. You can do a secured credit card. You give the bank 500 bucks. They'll put $500 on your card. They're like prepaid credit cards. You build your credit. You should start building credit. Sylvia Tsui. Females getting in here. This is going to work great for women, because women, certain things people want to learn from women, certain things people want to learn from men. Sumo wrestling, if you're good at it, you're probably going to learn from a man. Okay? You know, some things you want to learn from a woman. Like how to dress. In my experience, every time I get how to dress advice from a man, I don't look so good. Gay men are good stylists in my experience, and women. I don't know what happens with straight men. If you get a straight man giving you style advice, you're gonna end up looking like Armin over here. Armin, I don't know what Armin's wearing. Okay. Okay. Theo Ora in Hawaii. Cool. I think that's where Ula is. Isn't that where Ula is? Patrick Breen, Massachusetts. Welcome to the group. Okay. Pratik Narula. Nicole Deshawn. I do not have time to read it. Brandon Webb, Logan Guri, Tlen Doyne, Kathy Aquino, Shahid Aziz, Mohan Sundar, Michael Schilling, Cameron Jones, Andre Gahan, Kelly Parsons, John King. I'm just literally scrolling through here. Miles Kenny, Renat K. Bulin, Rhett Davis, Christian Degucci, John Sproko, Matthew Schnotter. Oh, your card is declined. You're in Indiana. Vasily Grigor. Okay, here now I'm down to the people who got declined. There's a ton. I don't want to keep going to the top. Jed Broller, Juhi Jin, Shando Paul Howell, Mike Zayas, Leon Lewis. Welcome to the group. Someone said, Ty, read every name, please. Hell no, I'm going to be here all day reading names. Those are all middle names. That's for all you highly cynical. At least 10% of you somehow are the most cynical people in the world. I don't know what happened to you growing up, but you don't believe anything. Those ain't made up names. I was reading them fast just so you know I'm smart, but I can't come up with names that fast. You ever try to come up with fake names real fast? You're not going to be like Bob Smith, Bob, George, Dennis, Diane, Kubrick. You end up saying like Professor Elon Musk just joined the group. I can't think of any more names. It's actually hard to come up with. Ksenia Asefa, Jed Broller. Jed Brolier. I like looking where names. Where the heck is Ksenia Asefa from? Oh, she's
Art
from
Vandelay.
What?
That's a Seinfeld reference. Art Vandelay.
Art Vandelay, Kiki Vandeweghe, LeBron James, Chris Paul is now in my test group. Ty, I want to coach you in basketball. Sports. Someone said pronounce my name. John Biondi. Moose Juice. Okay. Any last questions before I go? Someone said they're going to ask Wesley Virgin to sponsor them. Ty, do the Breakfast Club. Isn't that a radio program or something? Dude, I'm a little more stay to myself these days. One thing I learned, like I used to just, if you would see my social media, I was like always out and like just doing stuff. But once you build influence, you don't have to do that anymore. You got to work hard for a few years. I like to chill. I bought a couple farms. I like to be, behind the scenes now. People think I'm super extroverted, but the whole purpose of making money is to be able to do whatever the hell you want. So I want to get you guys making enough money so that you guys can do what you want. I'm in Chicago because I felt like coming to Chicago. That's it. People are like, why in Chicago? I'm like, I'm looking at a few real estate deals here, but really, I haven't actually looked at one real estate. I've just been like working out, eating blueberries, watching sports every day, chilling with Zach, Craig, Armin, arguing sports. Man, this Chicago town, people argue. We were watching a game. There was a dude behind us. I thought this guy was going to go postal and start shooting everybody. His team didn't win. The Chicago takes sports a little bit too seriously. What did they used to do in Philadelphia, Zach?
Threw batteries.
Threw batteries at people's heads?
Santa Claus.
At Santa Claus in a football game?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of you are taking your sports a little bit too much. A little too serious. Okay. I think I'm going to go. So, if you got more questions, just go in the program. Because the test group, you don't want to get in the test group when it gets too big. Like the first people who got into my social media marketing agency, like Jaden Gross, the top performing student, he got in the first day. In my last big test group I did, I haven't done it in a year and a half, a big test group like that. The first day, the people who get in, like Jaden Gross, made 1.2 million the first year, netted $400,000 on his tax return. I've seen it. 400 G's. He just bought a big house in Denver. This year he says he'll make $6 million. Why? Because he got in early when the test group wasn't as big. We could pay more attention to people. So the test groups I keep them small, but they get just natural entropy. They get bigger and bigger. When they get too big, you don't get as much personal attention. So go in now. Go in now. And if you don't want to go in, fine. People go, how do I know it's worth it? I got 100% money back guarantee. So try for 30 days. If it's crap, if it doesn't help you. Now remember, those of you getting in today, getting in the first day, give me till this week to start putting the training in there. Okay? I'm going to raise the price so you guys are getting in early because you're like in the beta program. And there's some disadvantages about being in the beta program in like it's not all built yet. But you don't need me to build the whole thing to get results. Trust me. You don't need me to build the whole thing. That's why I said the people get in the test groups the fastest before all the content's even in there, before all the training's in there, they do the best. Because sometimes when there's too much training, people literally go, oh, I can't watch 60 hours of videos. You only need, I can train most of you in like 5 to 10 hours of this. That's about all you need. That's the problem with college. Every year, you got to get like 120 credit hours. I'm like, shit, you don't need that much. Go out and make money. If you want to learn Egyptology or whatever people learn at these colleges, you need more. But, and again, I'm not completely disparaging college. I'm just saying common sense. Don't spend $120,000 for an English degree if you already speak English. Right there. CS. Common sense. Believe it or not, it ain't common. I put a payment plan in, so if you can't afford it all right now, you can just pay it over time. For those of you hyper scared, don't do it, because people who are too scared of everything, they're not successful. Now, you might have anxiety. That's normal. But those of you who are highly skeptical, highly cynical of everything, just don't do it. You can stay in the mainstream society scam. That's what I tell people. People so worried about being scammed, they already got scammed. Where's the protests outside of McDonald's for junk food, Coca-Cola? These are diabetes factories. No, they're so big, people don't even talk about them. And then they try to focus, well, is online education a scam? No, it's the next $1 trillion industry. Some people will laugh at you, but you will laugh last, my friend. You will laugh last. You catch it's already $120 billion. That's of like last, I think that's 1 or 2 years ago. I haven't even looked at what online education. Influencers already, how big is influencer industry? Influencers is everything. The modeling industry is disappearing. They want influencers. They want Kardashians. They want Kendall Jenner. They want Ronaldo. They're influencers. You don't have to be a huge influencer, but you need to have influence. I'm going to teach you how to have influence. Or you need to find somebody that can be the influencer and you manage them. Okay? And you split the profit with them. Then you could be behind the scenes. All right? So let me read the last 10 names that just got in here. Let's log in. We got Leland Lewis. Oh man. Sai Krishna Puni, Tyler Lavery, Abraham Fitzwilson, your card is declined. Jerry Exumi, Anthony Velasquez. All right? Hope that helped. For those of you who didn't get in the test group, all that free training was good. Use the training. If you can get in the test group, if you can afford it, go in. Do not be cheap with investing in your future, man. Don't be cheap. If you really don't have the money, go out and get a manual labor job, start saving up some money. You gotta save it. You can't spend it as fast as you make it. Okay? Every one of you should have $200 sitting around to invest in good opportunities, but you know, I didn't always follow that advice, so I know how it is to not have any money. So if you got no money, I'm feeling for you, and I'm telling you, the other side, I've been on both sides of the railroad tracks. You know, they say being on the other side of the train tracks, what that means, like being in the bad part I've been in the mobile home part of town, and I've been in the Beverly Hills part of town. I grew up in a house in San Diego. I went back and looked at it. I think it was 1,100 square feet. My bedroom now in Beverly Hills is more than 1,100 square feet. Okay? I've seen both sides of train tracks. You don't have to become filthy rich. You don't have to become wealthy. You don't have to become a 5 million influencer, follower influencer. But you need to get financial security. You need to have abundance. You need to have prosperity in the sense that you're not always freaked out about money. You need to have some form of automated income. You need to have multiple streams of income. Never have one. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. The average billionaire, there is no average billionaire, but billionaires like Warren Buffett, you go on his Wikipedia page, look up Berkshire Hathaway, I've counted it. He has over 100 different income streams. Geico, Dairy Queen, Bank of America, all these companies, 100 streams of income. And he has $100 billion. He says he can't sleep unless he has 20 billion of cash in his bank account. And right now he has 100 billion. He actually says biggest problem in his life right now is what to do with all this cash that's only getting 1% return. Who here would like that problem? Raise your hand. Your problem is, damn it, I've got 100 billion and I really only need 20 billion. most of us will never get there. That's next level. But you never know. There's probably one person floating out there today that's going to be the next Warren Buffett, the next, it's hard to predict. But I will tell you this, true story, and I'll end with this. Warren Buffett said the most important thing he ever did. Remember, he went to college. He went to Wharton, and I think he went to Northwestern or another school. But he said the most important investment he ever made in himself was a course that was, I think, $1,000 in the equivalent today's dollars. It was a Dale Carnegie course. The guy who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People, on how to be a public speaker. It wasn't out of college. It was private. It wasn't online because they didn't have online. But if it had, now it would have been online education. And it was $1,000. And he said it was all the money he had. And he invested in it, and he learned how to speak to people, which helped him raise capital, which helped him build Berkshire Hathaway, which got him to where he was now. See, online education is a pivotal point. That's why I said mark down this day. Today you got online education. You're learning about trends. You now understand how Airbnb works. You understand how Uber works, how Snapchat works. You see behind. Most people just see Uber. Oh, it's a car app. No, it's trend stacking. And if you already have a trend stack, I hope you'll build the next Snapchat. I hope one day I'll meet you out on the streets and you'll be like, yo, Ty, I watched your live call. I took 2 trends, I put them together. Here's my $1 billion company. Hey, buy me a drink. That's all I ask for, Or I don't even drink. We'll just high five or something. But if you don't have an idea, I'm going to give you an idea. If you don't know a business, I'm going to give you one in the test group. Okay? I'm out. I got people waiting downstairs. And I'm going to go enjoy life. I hope this helped you. If it didn't help you, my bad. If it did help you, jump in the test group. There's a lot more. Get into level 1. Some of you get level 2, level 3. We'll train you even more. Let's get success stories. That's what 2018 is about. Get you results. Okay? Talk to you soon.